Maybe I was wrong. I used to jump into conversations like every answer mattered most, drawing lines around my certainty, defending things I thought I knew. There's a peace in not explaining every corner of your mind. Not every question needs a finish, not every road a sign. Some things can stay open. You said we should grab a coffee somewhere after things slow down. I said next week sounds easier, then life kept moving around. feels heavier than before. I wasn't trying to disappear. I thought there'd be more time, more weekends to figure it out, more chances to say the things that never made it out. I thought there'd be more time. That's what I thought. Call me when you get a chance. I got used to eating dinner at the corner of the couch, used to making all my plans without saying them out loud. I knew exactly where things belonged, every shelf and every drawer. Life was running smoothly till you walked through the door. Nothing was missing until you arrived. I made room for you without meaning to. One more cup beside everybody else could see it before either one of us. The extra hour after dinner, the reasons made up just to talk. We treated it that way. Maybe naming it would have changed it. Maybe fear got there first. Maybe some things stay unfinished because they almost worked. I still think about that sometimes. We never called it love. We never called it anything. Just two people leaving all the right words out. We never called it love. Coffee sitting in the cup holder, getting colder every mile. The radio keeps losing signal, then comes back after a while. Street lights passing one by one. Southbound lanes, that's all I know right now. Southbound lanes, no need to figure it out. Southbound again. The cab's still waiting by the bakery, meter glowing red and blue. Someone left a receipt on the dashboard, folded into something new. Keep the meter running, I'll be there when I get there. Keep the meter running, nothing's going Stand beside the hospital, still as lights at 3:30. Buckets lined against the sidewalk, waiting where nobody sees. Shift flowers for the ones running Platform 7 after midnight, a paper cup beside the rail. 3 names glowing on the schedule, 1 delayed and 1 for sale. Doors slide open, people change. Let's change before express. That's where everybody moves. Let's change a suitcase near the door. Someone left the local paper folded on the marble floor. Taxis come and vanish like they're working without sound. The revolving door keeps spinning even when no one's around. Lobby lights still on for somebody. Lobby lights keeping company. Didn't touch the brake for 10 blocks. Everything just lined up right. The diner sign was still flickering, same as every other night. story they can hold. Something broken, something dramatic, something easy to be told. But we just started talking less, then less became almost none. No slam doors, no final warning, just two lives moving on. Nothing happened, that's the hardest part. Nothing happened, and still we fell apart. I still hope you're doing better. I still mean it when I say some things don't need villains to slowly fade away. Nothing happened, that's the hardest part. Nothing happened, and still we fell apart. Nothing happened. I almost didn't stop for coffee. Saw the sign and changed my mind. The woman working knew my order, though it's been a while this time. She asked if work was getting better. I said yeah, more or less. We both knew that wasn't really true, but neither one of us pressed. Still open past midnight. Still open like a light left on. past midnight, still open, like a light left on. Found your voicemail from September, buried somewhere in my phone. You were laughing at the weather, like you never leave it all. Just an old email I wrote back when everything felt urgent. Every line was full of answers. Every answer sounded certain. Funny how time changes the shape of what we know. I miss the version of me who thought it all was simple. I miss the version of me before I learned the middle. I used to think there'd be a moment when the pieces would align. Now I know most people build their lives one compromise at a time. Maybe growing up is letting go of perfect. I miss the version of me who thought it all was simple. I miss the version of me before I learned the middle. But I wouldn't trade her for who I am now. Let it be unfinished for a little while. I used to keep every window open, afraid I missed the right way through. Every choice felt like a deadline. Every maybe felt like true. thought it'd last longer. For a while I carried every word like evidence I had to keep, replaying conversations long after they were gone. Somewhere between ordinary days and things I can't remember, the weight I used to notice stopped showing up at all. No big moment, no grand goodbye. I'm no longer angry. That's how I know I've changed. I'm no longer angry. Nothing had to be explained. I still remember what happened. I just don't live there anymore. Some doors don't need reopening to know what they were for. I'm no longer angry. That's how I know I've changed. I'm no longer angry. And nothing had to be explained. I thought it'd last longer. I thought it'd last longer. Used to measure every season against somebody else's pace. Another created them on my own.
Reaching for the same old screen, like the day might bring an answer to a question in between. like this. I stopped checking, stopped waiting for a sign. I stopped checking, and somehow got my life back. What if this is not the ending, not the highlight, just the life I kept missing? Spent so many years imagining a future version of myself. Someone calmer, someone wiser, someone living somewhere else. Then a Tuesday came and went, nothing special, nothing new. Dinner on the table, a familiar point of view. And for a second, I could see it. What if this is it? Not the ending, not the highlight, just the life I kept missing. Maybe every perfect moment doesn't arrive with fireworks. Maybe it just looks like peace, quietly doing its work. I almost didn't notice. What if this is it? Not the ending, not the highlight, just the life I kept missing. Maybe this is it. talking fast at dinner, trying hard to prove a point, finishing every sentence before anyone could join. Exactly what you meant before you even got halfway. Not because we think alike, because I used to be that way. Funny how perspective changes. You remind me of who I used to be. Not in a bad way, just differently. You remind me of who I used to be, and how much can change without anybody seeing. Still fold the sleeves twice over, even though you're not around. Funny what the hands remember long after the reasons don't. without permission. I still do little things that came from you, not because I'm holding on, just because some habits do. I still do. Time has changed 100 details, names and numbers, jobs and plans, but the smallest parts of people sometimes settle in our hands. Nobody tells you that part.